Hello everyone. In today's tutorial, I will be talking about creating an image dataset in Vertex AI. Generally, this is fairly simple, as the only requirement for this is to have a CSV or JSONL file that meets the specific requirements. Creating an image dataset can be done both through Vertex AI Web GUI or Python SDK. The process of doing that through the GUI is very simple, as it comes down to uploading the previously mentioned file to Vertex AI. That is why I will skip it and focus on doing that through Python SDK. In the later part of tutorial, I will also show you how to create an input file in both formats, so this will be helpful regardless of an create option that you choose. The dataset that I will be working with today comes from Kaggle, and of course it will be linked in the video description. As you can see, I chose a lemon quality dataset, and it comes with three types of images. Here we see some examples, and those types are separated into folders. So we have three folders, and generally I downloaded this dataset and then uploaded those three folders into cloud storage. So here I am inside of the cloud storage, and as you can see, I have my three folders, and inside of each folder I have multiple images that comes from this dataset. So we can investigate one of those, and you can see that it also displays an image. And generally what we'll need from in the later part of tutorial is this URI on the cloud storage. So here I am inside Vertex AI Managed Notebook instance. And first let me start with importing Vertex AI library. Then I need to initialize the connection. And next I will focus on dataset from CSV file. So on creating image dataset from CSV file. So to do this, we of course need to have like an input file. And this needs to be in Google Cloud Storage. But also we need to have this import schema file and how to get it. Basically, we are on the official documentation page provided by Google. And here we have all the details which are required for basically preparing data for this kind of import. We are doing symbol label classification. So here you can see some of the data requirements. But generally what we want to see is this input file structure. So as you can see, for CSV format, we can provide three columns: MLUs, GCS file path, and label. GCS file path is the only which is required, and we'll of course provide that. But in my example, I will also add additional column, which is label. So in a second, I will show you how the CSV file looks like. But also, as we are already here, you can see that you can actually get this address of a schema file from here. So all you need to do is to copy this into this import schema URI variable. And the CSV input file looks like this. So we have just two columns. First one is with the address of the image inside of the Google Cloud Storage. And in the second column, I have my label. So now let's go back to the Vertex AI. So we already know what should be under GCS source and import schema URI. The last thing I need to define is the dataset name. I named that lemon quality CSV. So now the rest of the code creates the dataset inside of the Vertex AI. So let's run it. And it will take some time to create. And we'll of course have to wait. But you can already go to the Vertex AI. And here, once I refresh, you can see that this job has been triggered, and now we just need to wait. All right, so after some time it has been finished, and now we can go to Vertex AI, to the Datasets tab, we can click on our dataset, and here we can investigate some of the images. It shows us the examples. So for example, let's filter by the good label, and we see examples assigned to this class. All right, so this wraps up the process of creating image dataset from CSV file, and now we'll do the same from the JSON lines file. To create dataset from JSON lines file, we need to again define cloud storage source, which in our case is input file.jsonl stored inside of the Google Cloud Storage. And we also need to define the import schema URI. So in order to understand both of those files, let's go to the Google Cloud documentation on this. So here we are inside of the official documentation. We are creating single label classification dataset. There are some requirements. It's worth to read them. But what we are interested at are actually those two things. So here you can see what the structure of the JSON lines files looks like. So we see that we have a bunch of keeper values there, and the image GCS URI is the only required one. Additionally, we can provide something inside this annotation resource labels and also data item resource labels. And we'll use that one to provide also the labels to our dataset. Here at the bottom, you can also see the example, which is very handy. And also this YAML schema file, we need to copy this, and this is used as a variable, this one. So import schema URI. Now let me show how the input file looks like. The JSON lines input file looks like that. So at each line we have the following structure. We have our image GCS URI, and this is of course the key, and for the value we have the address of the image inside of the Google Cloud Storage. And then of course, as additional stuff, I'm using this classification annotation to assign a label to this image. So now, as we know how the input file looks like and also how to get this address, the last thing that we need to define is basically the dataset display name. In my case, I called that lemon quality JSONL, and this code will basically create an image dataset inside of the Vertex AI. So let's run it. And of course, we'll have to wait for this to be finished. But also in the meantime, we can investigate how it looks like inside of the Vertex AI. So let's refresh the datasets view. And as you can see, we already started this task here. It's also visible inside of the Vertex AI. All right, so after some time, this task has been finished. So now we can go to the Vertex AI datasets tab, and we can see that this one has also been finished. If we click there, we can take a look at our dataset. And this is basically how you create image dataset with the help of the JSON lines file. The previous parts of the tutorial were assuming that you already have the input file in one of the two accepted input formats. Right now, I will show you how to create such files in case of you don't have it already. So here we are inside of the Vertex AI managed instance. First, let me import some necessary libraries and create a cloud storage setup. Next, we go to the data preparation, and here I need to get addresses of our files from Google Cloud Storage and save them to CSV files. So for that, we'll need this command gcloud storage ls, So let me show you what it does. So let me copy this and run it. And this in general will list all the files inside of the specified folder. So here first I want to list all the files inside of this bad quality folder. And also I don't want to just print them, but I want to save them in the CSV file. So let me do this. And right now we see that the bad.csv file has appeared. So let us investigate that. So let's open with editor. And as you can see, we have all the files which are inside of this bad quality folder. Now let's do it also for two other folders. The next step is to create data frames from those CSV files. We also want to add the labels to our data frames and merge those three files. And this is in general how your data frame will look like. So in first column, we have address inside of the cloud storage. And in second, we have the label. Now we'll create a CSV input file. So for that, this is very simple. We just need to use the toCSV method from this pandas data frame. We don't want to have index, and we also don't want to have a header. So let's do this and investigate the input file which we just created. So as you can see, we have merged the address of the file, image file, together with the label. And as we scroll down, we see that we have all the three labels there. So we successfully created the input file. And last part is the export to the cloud storage. But this is also very simple. So we just need to define the address inside of our bucket. So the bucket that I'm choosing is datasets dash C4DS. And there I want to move this file into lemon quality folder and name it inputfile.csv. So let's run it. And this file will be immediately available inside of the defined Google Cloud Storage folder. So now let's go back to the notebook and we'll create the JSONL input file. So first we need to split our full data frame into two lists. One will have the path, all paths, and the second will have the labels. So let's print top three rows of a path list. So as you can see, this is just path of the images inside of the cloud storage and labels. Now we'll use those two above defined arrays to create an input file according to the requirements. And for that, I'm using a simple list comprehension. Let's save the input file locally and export it to the cloud storage. So this file will look like that. And as previously, it will also be immediately available inside of the cloud storage. We just need to hit the refresh button. Those two files which I've just created together with the code used in this tutorial will be available in my GitHub repository, link in the video description. So feel free to use it to create your input files. So this concludes the tutorial. I showed you how to create image dataset in Vertex AI through Python SDK with the help of both CSV and JSONL files. Additionally, in the second part of the tutorial, I showed you how to create those input files in case you don't have them. Thank you for watching.